Hi. Hello. My name is Tyler Kenney. I'm a biology major at CSUMB, and this is my Praxis presentation. I could not get Camtasia to work, so I'm just screen recording off my laptop and with my presentation, and then obviously I just have like the FaceTime window on the side. I figured it would do the same thing. So this is my Praxis presentation, and so for my service learning site was the Monterey Food Bank in Salinas, and their mission is to lead community efforts in awareness and elimination of hunger in Monterey County. And on their website, they have these they have these statistics, and they said 95% of all donations to the food bank go directly to our food assistance programs. And the best way I can confirm that is like they won't even let people who volunteer like take a snack. They count all their food. All their food is completely accounted for. It's weighed, and yeah, and then it's for packages, they're counted, so I know that they take like they make sure everything that like all of that food is going exactly where it needs to be. So it says 90,000 of our Monterey counties look to the food bank for help, and I confirmed that by looking at the statistics of Monterey County. And so they said like around 20% of the citizens of Monterey County, sorry, 20% of Monterey County citizens or residents are use food assistance or like EBT, and so the Monterey County population is around almost 500,000, and 20% of that. Well, okay, the exact number is 437,907. And then 27% of that was around 87,000. So I guess they just kind of rounded up to 90,000. But yeah, I think it's fairly close. And unfortunately, I guess get the next one. The food bank distribute $5 worth of food for every dollar that's donated. Unfortunately, I don't know how they did that or do that. Not much of their not much of their mission or their like what they actually do with the food distribution is like to like available for like this the volunteers. We just pretty much just go inside, and we just sort the food. We throw out food that's expired, which is something that should be. If anyone were to see this, is please don't donate expired food. Just throw it away. I think it's pretty like offensive because I feel like you're just using the food bank bins as your trash can. I went through when I was going through cans. We would get a lot of cans from like 2007, 2008, and that's not cool because I mean we're just throwing it away for you. Just throw it away yourself. And yeah. And then I would say this is true that over 6 million pounds of the food is donated annually to the food bank because we go through so much food. Like, it's insane. And at the same time, as I say, don't donate expired food. I think it's really amazing how much food is donated to the food bank because every day I would go there, it was just like you just think like where does like how does this much food end up here? We have these bins that would probably be the size of like two large bathtubs like put together, and they're like deep. They probably like if I stood in them, they probably go up to like my thighs, like the middle of my thigh, and we completely filled probably six of them in like an hour with just bread alone, and we do that same thing. We filled, and like another day I got there, we filled like probably about 7 or 8 of them in a couple hours of produce. So we like bagged 20 potatoes, 7 oranges, and 7 apples, and basically, yeah, and we just filled those up, and then those were taken to the taken by the forklifts, and I'm assuming just distributed as soon as possible because they were pretty close on their like expiration time because most of the like food had like mold, and we'd had like basically we had to sort the food, throw away the moldy ones or throw away the ones that were like smushed or old, and then keep all the fresh ones, and yeah. So the next one is, yeah. So yeah, this is another thing. This is another thing going with their 90,000. So basically, roughly around, I say 20% of Monterey County is on EBT. So that makes sense that 20% of them are, or 1 in 5, which is 20%, and then 50% of those are children, which is very unfortunate. And then if you go onto the Monterey demographics, which I might honestly still have it up. Yeah, I do. So if you go to the Monterey demographics and go to food stamps, the very top one you see here is children, which is basically double all of these, pretty much, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, and so I'll read what I have here. I think that the food bank addresses the marginalized group of lower class families in Monterey County. I feel that Monterey County is right on the oasis called the Central Coast, and this place is a paradise and a vacation spot for millions. Unfortunately, 20% of the community or the county depends on the food bank. 1 in 5 people go home hungry, and 50% of them are children. I don't believe that this is an overt justice, maybe structural due to the high cost of rent and cost of living, but I think it's pretty like, I don't know. This kind of stood out to me, as I feel Monterey is majority service jobs, and it's majority service jobs and not many large businesses. Like if we would live in like San Jose or live in San Francisco, and it's just high rises and it's just like Google, Uber, like all those big. It's pretty much just people like me who work as a waitress, or people who work in McDonald's, work at the mall, and a lot of these people who like get to like see all these like smiling tourists, like, oh my god, I'm having so much fun just spending all my money. It's like, I go home hungry. Like it's just like we get to serve these people food, but we don't have food to take home ourselves. So I think that's kind of like unfortunate. Um, any of those, yeah. And so yeah, just I think that's just something to think about while living in Monterey, or just going to places like this where it's like, I don't know, it's like we live in such a beautiful place, and not everybody gets to really like appreciate it or have like fun, because they're too busy like working, living check to check. So next would be my personal philosophy and theory of social change. And I strongly believe in equity. I strongly believe that there are structural justices that bring down people who are marginalized, like women that are marginalized, people of color, people the LGBT community, people basically, well, majority of people who are not a white straight man have don't have it as easy in the world. And so I believe, and I feel like this ties in with I think my absolute favorite philosophy this semester was the capabilities approach, because it's just so simple. It's just like, and I think it's really important because it's just like the Declaration of Human Rights, which is like extremely ignored, I feel, because we have like the Constitution, and people like the Constitution, but it's like, what about like Declaration of Human Rights? Like, I feel like that should be like spoke about more. It's just like, people deserve to have food on their table. People deserve to be warm at night. People deserve to, have as much chance as that you do to do, and so my personal philosophy that I will like contribute to in my future is to make sure that I can work to make sure that our youth who are marginalized and who don't have the same chances as children from affluent areas have the knowledge and the confidence and the drive to get to be, because they'll never be at the same level because of, I mean, obviously, of like white privilege. They'll never be at the same level, but like they'll they'll have a good foundation under them, and I want to make sure that I'm a part of that foundation, and not letting them just go on with their lives knowing that I could have did something to like open their mind about where they could be later in life. And so I want to be a high school teacher. I want to teach biology and chem. That's my major, biology, and I'm going to take the CSET for chemistry, just because I think that I'll be able, like, as much as chemistry I've learned in the bio major. I don't think I need to go back to school for it, so I will be teaching biology and chem. And I want to, which I have stated in my post class reflection, that I want more students. I want more marginalized people in the STEM field, because if not, they would follow what we have here is the school to prison pipeline that I learned in my last service learning class, which was a class about just teaching. I can't remember what it's called, but we learned about the school to prison pipeline, and I've never heard about it till then. And I want to make sure like that I like can be a person to put a break into that as like best as I can. And I and so yeah, and I think it'd be really important to have more um, students of color, students of just students of just I don't want the people who are making the big breaks in science, in the science field, in the medical field, in the engineering field, in all fields. I don't want it to just be like I feel like it's normal to hear about a white man making being successful, and it's such a huge like, oh my gosh, like this African American, like hearing this is the first African American woman that did this, the first like I feel like in 2019 we shouldn't be hearing first anymore. I just want it to be normal that yeah, it's like, oh yeah, did you hear about the black woman who, um, had a company better than Tesla and now she owns 3 rockets, and we're just like yeah, whatever, like that happens. Like I feel like we hear about I don't know, no one ever brings up Elon Musk's race. No, like I don't think anyone ever talks about But if it was a woman, a black woman in that, then it'd be like such a huge. I just want it to be normal. Um, and then I think that's all for, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then for my like, so that'd be like my social justice plan, and then my ecological justice plan is that not only will I worry about where their future is personally, but I want to worry about how their future will be like in the world. And so I'm like making sure that my students know that like being wasteful, wasting water, wasting electricity, just using single use products is just like unnecessary. Like going to the grocery store and putting your produce in a plastic bag just to put it in another plastic bag just to go home. It's just like have a reusable bag. You're just going home. So that'll be something that I'll make sure my students are well aware of. My remedial responsibility, I feel, is that I owe more to my community, because I feel like I worry about other people's communities too much, and I don't like make sure that I am like aware and actively working to just help my own community. And like this would be the only time I feel like I would agree with Ayn Rand being selfish, and is that I haven't been a large spokesperson for Black Lives Matter, because I feel like it's a very like very very sensitive subject, and I just really don't like confrontation, unfortunately. And so I just don't like want to be I just feel like it hasn't worked so much, because so many people are just like, no, like racism doesn't exist, I don't even see color, and I'm like, oh my god. So I want to be able to learn, maybe like I want to focus, like I feel like this class was a good stepping stone, and then not like it'll be a good foundation, and now I can step into a deeper knowledge into Black Lives Matter, to be able to like really speak to those who just don't get it, and like explain to them like this is why we feel like our lives do not matter in the eyes of the oppressor, or just I don't know, just like we just feel like our lives are not valued compared to our white counterparts. And then to compare my philosophy to other philosophers, the Dalai Lama is the book I'm reading, Beyond Religion, and I feel like he gets it. It's just such a like. I feel like there's no sugarcoating. He didn't make it seem like you were gonna become a transcendent individual. He's just like you know what morals are, and you know what morals that you should be following. Follow them or you don't. But like you know what you should be doing to be a good individual, and you don't need a higher power to tell you to be a good individual. Just do it. Like, that's it. Just do it. Like, and so I like that. Like his book, and I like that his book was really simple to read, because I have to deal with a lot of reading like the scholarly papers in like my bio classes, and they're just so hard to read, and they're so just like showing you how smart they are. And I'm like, I don't even know what this is about. And he was just like, he uses regular language, and anytime he would use like a word I haven't heard of, it was easy for me just to look it up. But I wasn't spending my entire time looking up words and forgetting what I was reading. I was just like, oh, I don't know what that means. Oh, no, I know what it means. Let's move on. And I was able to move on. One, Wangari Maathai, I like her idea of being ethical. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Self empowerment with help of others. Staying away from inertia and self destructive behavior. So it's just like hers is a more, I feel like, active approach of like just I don't know, like she's just like help others, help yourself, like live. I feel like she wants us to live a good, fruitful life. You know, it's like we can't do this without like empowering ourselves and others. And then I don't really care to go into Ayn Rand. She just has this idea that like if you want to get what you want, you got to be selfish. And I'm like, I just feel like that kind of lifestyle won't help you like in the long run, because you'll get what you want, but you won't have anyone around you to, you know, build with, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was my Praxis presentation. Thank you.